it's me. Taking a break from the usual RC products and projects, and I'm bringing you my electric go-kart build, which I showed a little video of it running earlier today. I decided to come out and show you what it's all about. So what we have here is an E300 scooter, racer scooter, that I bought at Goodwill, how long was that, a few months ago already. And it's got a really decent sized chain and motor, and it's got enough torque to push it. It's very big difference gear ratio. You see the motor right there. I got 2 of these 12 volt, 10 amp hour lead acid from, if you know that brand, you know it's Harbor Freight, and you know Harbor Freight's the best. And that's where I also got those 2 tires. And the chassis is comprised of most of this, galvanized steel there. And part of the go-kart frame. And if you hear that buzzing, it's because I'm still charging my batteries. It says charge complete, it's not. At 5, so we're almost done. They take a while to charge because of lead acid, of course, and I'm kind of resisting with this wire. I'm still getting some 12 gauge wire for this. Pneumatic tire in the back from the Razor scooter. Has the handbrake. If you know the Razor scooters, they have nice handlebars, but I couldn't put that on incorporate with a go-kart. That'd look weird, so it's a handbrake, and it goes to the back to that disc brake that you saw earlier, and it rolls really nice and easy because the chain doesn't move unless you go backwards with it because it's designed to coast. Yeah, so then I got pneumatic tires. They're like $6, they're pretty cheap. The batteries were like 30 a piece at Harbor Freight, just if you want to build one like this. I am going to make it 36 volts instead of only 24 because it'll give it more oomph and a lot more amperage because they're 10 a piece. So then I get 20 and then I'll get 30. So it should be a bigger range. I get about 5-10 miles out of this. But the steering is just a simple T. And there's a post here, sleeve, call it a T because I like that. And then goes to a circle. And then I push this back, turn left, turn right, basic stuff. Bearings are nice and smooth, some nice, what is that, like 1/4 inch steel. I got that scrap from school and around. Yeah. And all I did was hook up a very high amperage switch, which it still will go on the charger, but I'm not gonna let it do anything. But I have the charging rig set up in a certain way. So all I do is, so these usually when you plug them in over here to this terminal, it'll make this 24 volts. But when I'm charging it, it's only 12 because this charger only works for 12 volts. So I'm charging both of them at the same time then in like a parallel. Other things about the go-kart, it's got this handle back here that goes right across to, actually it serves 2 purposes. It's a handle for me to grip on to push it out of the garage. There's one up there too. And it also keeps these batteries in place right here so they don't slide around. I had that issue before. The steering wheel is just 1/8 inch, no I'm sorry. What is that? 1/4 inch steel rolled, and then have a 1/4 inch bar across there. And then that just turns the steering. Really simple. Yeah, it's not much to it. It's really simplistic. I mean, that's what I was going for. The total cost, if you bought all this steel brand new, it would be about $50. So $50 for the frame. Batteries were 40. Well, okay, so 30 a piece, so 60 together. So 160 plus 12, 172. The scooter I got at Goodwill for 12, so 180, 190, depending on how cheap, because those batteries were discounted, those were discounted. So altogether under $200, but I already had the scooter, already had the metal, so for me it costs less than $100. But yeah, So I'm gonna think about getting one of these because for some reason I used a shelf for that. It's not really part of the chassis, it's more like so I can fit all the electronics and me in there. If there's like a perfect amount of room for me to fit another battery, and it's a little on the slow side at like 12 miles an hour. I mean, that's not terribly slow, could be faster, so that's why I'm gonna have 36 because when I have my cousins over, they're probably obviously gonna want to drive it, and then you know, it needs a little more oomph when you got more weight on it. The original scooter is only rated for 220 pounds, including the 50-pound scooter. So, well, actually 48 pounds to be exact, but I round up to 50 because you know, they're always a little off. They use really weak 7-amp batteries with the original scooter. So yeah, I'm gonna paint this black, maybe some blue. We don't know yet. But yeah, so the motor will actually be. I think I looked at this motor earlier. I don't remember the exact part number and name, but this motor is actually rated for, I believe, 48 volts and 50 amps. But the really thing that constricts this motor is, one, it is a little small, but it's not terribly small. It's these wires. They're only like 16 gauge, but they're rated for 600 volts. But I got no amperage, so yeah, there's no amperage on there. Just 600 volts. So I'm gonna put 12 gauge wire on there, even though it's only 16. And I'll change that. But they are solid. You can feel the stiffness. So yeah. Really easy putting the terminals on. They're just screwed in terminals. You just slide in the side, or you can do the top ones if you want to do the O-ring kind of thing. There's that. Yeah, weighs under 100 pounds, surprisingly. These batteries probably consist of 1/4 of the weight. They're probably like 15, 20 pounds a piece, so they weigh kind of a lot. The scooter is not very heavy. I think the heaviest part is this section, the pink section, because that's where I cut off the scooter, and that front section with the heavier steel. But otherwise, it's not very heavy, and it was easy, so yeah. Hopefully I'm going to get you guys a range and miles range test and speed test for next time with this setup, and then I'll show the 36 volt setup when I get another battery. And I will be upgrading this to lithium ion like everyone's going to say in the comments. But I don't have a spot welder or enough 18650s to make a 36 true, what is it? I believe it's an 80 amp pack that I want to make. So, yeah. So, if you like this, comment below what I should do to it, but otherwise, stay tuned for more.